Hello. This is Antje from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching our videos. This time, I've put together a guide on how to navigate the matchup against lands when playing Doomsday, including thoughts on sideboarding. There's also a link to the pile breakdown video in the description, so feel free to check it out. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. After testing the 4-color version for a while, I found it works well against UB-based decks, but not so much against others, so I've gone back to 2 colors. Also, while Tomio Inquisitive Student is powerful, it can sometimes be difficult to utilize effectively in the 2-color UB version, so I'm currently running just 2 copies to balance the numbers. I'll mulligan, as I'm likely to get mana screwed. I'll put Personal Tutor on the bottom. Since our combo will take some time to set up and Daze loses its effectiveness once exploration resolves, I used it in response. I'm going all in. From here, I'm increasing my mana to set up for the combo. Since the opponent is on lands, I believe the main board threat is Disruptor Flute. Since they likely don't have removal, I'm planning to go for the combo while keeping 2 cards in the pile. There's a chance they could disrupt me with a crop rotation into Bojuka Bog, so just in case, I'm adding an extra land and a copy of Thassa's Oracle. I built the pile in the following order: Thassa's Oracle Dual Land, Unearth Thassa's Oracle, Consider. I'll use Consider to put Thassa's Oracle into the graveyard, then bring it back with Unearth for the win. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here's what I actually sideboarded in and out during the match. I completely forgot about Endurance in Game 2, oops. Please feel free to use this version yourselves. These are the cards from lands that can impact Doomsday. First, there's Disruptor Flute. You can use ritual-based mana acceleration to cover the additional costs. By putting Thassa's Oracle into the graveyard with Consider and bringing it back with Unearth, you can play around it. Next is Pithing Needle. While it doesn't heavily impact the Doomsday side, if you're not prepared when it's fetched with the 3rd chapter of Urza's Saga, they might name cards like Edge of Autumn or Street Wraith, or even a fetch land, which can throw off your calculations. Next is Deafening Silence. If it gets played on turn 1 by the opponent, it's often best to play out Lotus Petal on turn 1, and aim to cast Doomsday on turn 2. In response to these cards from the opponent, I'll bring in Force of Negation on my side. I'll also bring in Consign to Memory and Hercule's Recall as answers to artifacts. I'll take out Cavern of Souls in exchange. I'll also remove discard spells like Thoughtseize and Duress. That's because the opponent's deck functions similarly to Stompy, where discard spells are only effective in the early turns. However, since there are situations where I want to deal with Endurance using discard, I'll keep 2 copies of Thoughtseize in the deck. I'll also take out Tomio, Inquisitive Student. This is because rather than grinding out small advantages, the plan is to prioritize tempo, shut down only the opponent's most critical hate cards and aim to execute the combo quickly, winning the game before they can fully use up their hand. Next is Endurance. If it's cast in response to Thassa's Oracle, it can prevent us from winning the game. By doubling up on Thassa's Oracle, you can get your devotion to blue up to 4, allowing you to play around Endurance. Here, Nihil Spellbomb serves as a good answer to Endurance. When casting Thassa's Oracle, you can activate Nihil Spellbomb targeting your own graveyard to counter Endurance's effect. Even including just 1 copy in the deck can sometimes make a big difference. Next is Boseiju, who endures. If you focus too much on playing around Wasteland, you might end up short on lands, making it impossible to cast Thassa's Oracle. So it's important to be mindful of your land count. Lastly, while Consign to Memory and Flusterstorm have become less common lately, they were frequently seen in earlier metas. If you see lands like Tropical Island or other sources of blue mana on the opponent's side, it's a good idea to keep them in mind. If you're expecting those cards, the value of discard spells goes up. I was on the fence about whether to mulligan, but it felt just good enough, so I decided to keep. I'll use discard to scout ahead. I made a mistake with my sideboard choices. I should have brought in Thoughtseize instead. I'm digging for mana acceleration. I stacked the pile as fetchland Lotus Petal, then drew accordingly. And that's where the adventure came to an end. I'm going to mulligan. I need a faster hand. I'll put the Surveil land on the bottom. I'll play this proactively to play around Deafening Silence. I'm digging for blue card count. I'll leave the Surveil effect card on top of the library. I'm going all in. From here. My opponent has one card in hand. Right now, the two things I need to play around are Endurance and Disruptor Flute. I have a full set of Force of Will in hand, so I can go off with a 2-card pile and likely close out the game quickly. The last 2 cards in the pile could really be anything, but to ensure I can win without relying on the graveyard, I included an island and Thassa's Oracle. I built the pile in the following order: Thassa's Oracle, Island, Unearth, Thassa's Oracle, Consider. I'll use Consider to put Thassa's Oracle into the graveyard, then bring it back with Unearth to win the game. I'll counter it with Force of Will. Lastly, I have an announcement. I'm posting the concepts behind the images used in my videos, as well as small flavor-inspired stories, in the YouTube community section. Additionally, I'm selling merch for the channel through the link in the description. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the many play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you next time. This is Antya.